Hey guys, Wrench here. Boy, we got a lot to get through on this one. This is a mission I've been working on for a couple of years now. Kind of on and off. So the idea is it's a Vietnam-style mission here on Saipan, where we're going to pick up troops, drop them off for patrols. When they're done with their patrols, we pick them back up. That sounds simple enough. There's a lot of scripting going on in the background. So when you start up, there are a bunch of enemy groups spawned randomly across the map. We hold this little island here, which we'll see in a moment. We can pick up the troops from this side of this little pier. We have a fire support base pre-built down here. And we could just drop off troops, do whatever we want. At the pier, we also have CTLD logistics hub so that we can build FOBs and stuff. And everything that you do is persistent, so it will last in between mission starts, to include how many enemy groups there are. So every time you start the mission, the enemy groups will move around, but it starts with, I have the script set up to start with 30, and so if you kill 5 and restart, it'll only spawn 25, etc., etc. So there's some other little details we're going to get into, so let's go ahead and give it a shot. By the way, if you've ever tried to record videos for things like this, you know how difficult it can be, and over the years I have tried an unknown number of times to make this video happen, so hoping for some good luck. And I'd say over about the last 2 years, I've probably only flown helicopters in the testing of this mission, so my helicopter skills have degraded significantly. Alright, anyway, I'm going to flip around and head towards the pier. I think a lot of my problem is I've got a force feedback stick, an old Sidewinder, and I tend to just try to yank it around instead of hitting the force trim button like some kind of dummy. Alright, I'm going to start decelerating here. Like I said, it's been a long time. I'm also running on Linux now, so that's interesting. Some of the controls do feel just a little bit different than I remember on Windows. Okay, good enough. Managed not to kill anybody anyway. Sheesh. Okay, so we have these groups standing in front of us. We have a couple of chalks, which are just normal infantry, and then standing behind them we have pathfinders. So we'll go over the difference in those in a moment. So we will embark a group of pathfinders and a chalk. Okay, Pathfinders are on board, Chalk is on board. So now we're going to pick a spot for the Pathfinder, just to demonstrate. So it looks like this is a nice clearing that I can easily land in. So what I'm going to do is create a marker here called Pathfinder. And you may see some debug stuff up here in the corner. Like I said, still working on it. Alright, so now what we're going to do is try to find that particular clearing. I didn't really think that through. Normally you would kind of do that once you land, but Should be on max torque there. Oops. Been a long time. Okay. So we got M60 door gunner shooting at something down there. A lot of times I would actually land and drop off the infantry to deal with those guys, but today we aren't going to do that. Okay, so this Pathfinder's going to have his work cut out for him. You know what, let's see if we can find somewhere else. Or just find somewhere we can actually land to demonstrate this thing. On the side of a mountain's probably not a great spot, given my lack of current expertise here. Nope. That was a little rough. Okay. So, I'm going to create a new mark. Just go right in the middle there. So you can use this if you can really sneak into a spot that's really difficult to land in. There's a lot of flat fields in here, but if we ever get a Vietnam map, this will be much more useful. Okay, so now that we've got our mark here, we're going to drop off the Pathfinder. And we can see them there. It'll take a couple seconds for the script to grab them, because there's no event, if you're into scripting, there's no event that happens when you disembark troops. So I literally have to have the script look for them, which is sort of intensive, so it only does it every so often. Okay. So if we can't spot our Pathfinder here. Okay. So we're actually going to land and logger so we can see what the Pathfinder is doing. I forgot to reset my master caution. That was a mistake. Okay. Okay, so we can see our Pathfinders are basically going to kind of run around as though they are placing explosives on the trees and such. I think we're taking some fire here. Never tell which side it's on. Yeah, so we've got somebody not too far from the Pathfinders, actually. They are not far away at all from the Pathfinders. Okay, anyway. Go back to our Pathfinders. Oh, they're shooting at people way out in the distance. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to set them to return fire so he doesn't waste all his ammo. Okay, so the Pathfinders have turned on a radio transmitter so we can use our FM homing gear to find them. Groups that finish their patrols will do that as well. And they'll iterate through the frequencies. Okay, boom. So they blow down the trees, and now we see we've got this nice big clearing where once there were trees. Cool. So, yeah, they'll iterate from 30 to 70 and then start over. And if you have DCS simple radio installed, and if you're hosting the server, if you have the SSTS, the simple text-to-speech system going, you'll get messages saying, it says like a patrol is ready for pickup on 3-1 Fox Mike or whatever. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and Turn off the radio because we don't need it. So we'll go and pick up those Pathfinders. Alright, so we'll go pick up the Pathfinders. How much ammo did he waste? Half of it. Okay. I like to get reasonably close to them because they don't move very fast. Collective is really not working too well either. Alright. By the way, if you have voice attack, you can do this, picking up and dropping off the troops a lot faster, which is sort of fun. I had it set up when it would drop guys off. It would like kick the first group out when I said go, 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 or get out, or whatever. Sort of fun. Okay, so there's our Pathfinders. So I guess we'll drop off the infantry now, which I could have done without taking off, if I was smart. So we'll drop these guys off. And we want to take off quickly because they'll walk into the tail rotor. And it does kill them, unfortunately. So we'll demonstrate the drop-off zone, and then we'll take a look at what that patrol's doing. So the drop-off area is back here near the pier. It's not as well marketed on the World War II version of the map, but everything else about this map is way better, so we're sticking with it for now. We can always put it somewhere else later. As a matter of fact, I might put it elsewhere on the pier. Like those other docks in the distance there on the... I almost said on the left. Yeah, that's where the coast is. They're all on the left. Whatever. Okay, so this is the drop-off area. Not the drop out of the sky area. Jeez. Okay. That was a little bit better. Okay, so now we will disembark our Pathfinder, and they'll hang out here for a second, and then next time the script loop runs, they're gone. So, like, that's helpful if your guys are getting, if they take casualties and stuff. Okay, that was the Pathfinder that was ready for pickup. That was the marker that we put down for him. Oh, excellent. These guys are in contact on 3-1 Fox Mike. Outstanding. So, we can see they've marked where the enemy is with red smoke, and they will actually move towards the enemy here. It looks like their route on the map didn't update. By the way, that's their patrol route, so it just assigns them this random patrol route. Okay, so now they were on 3-1, so we'll pop over to 3-1. I don't have any infantry on board to help them out with, but I'll let the door gunners take a crack at them. There are gunships available, by the way. However, the enemy side has what I call propaganda points. So if you kill them from the air, they get propaganda points, and they can use that to recruit more infantry, and they can also use it to get in-place machine guns and even Stinger missiles. So you want to be careful with how much you're using air support. It's better to let the infantry go in and deal with them. Alright, so I didn't see the friendly infantry. Oh, there's the enemy. So we'll let the door gunners have their fun. See if I can't camouflage my helicopter here. Oh. Did I hit that tree? Oh. Boy, that's not the kind of collision geometry I expected these shrubs to have. Okay, interesting. Normally you can just land right in the middle of the shrubs. I guess I lost my landing skids. It wouldn't be DCS if something was janked up with the physics, right? Okay, so we're gonna see what we're doing, how we're doing on landing skids here. Okay, is she gonna settle to one side? I think I lost them both. Yep. Okay, anyway. This is about all we actually needed the helicopter for. Okay, so now they're going to go back out on patrol. So, if a group is kind of being stubborn or broken, and you just want to pick them up, what we can do is we can say extract, and then a comma, and down in the corner here we get their name. So that's chalk -3 spawn 3, and when we delete it, these guys will come here and call for a pickup. So we'll see if we can't speed up time a little bit. And yada yada yada, they come down here and they'll call for a pickup, right? So we could do that because this guy's injured, so it's like, okay, we'll grab a new group, pick these, extract these guys and then drop the other group in their place. Right, like that's the thing we could decide to do. And then if we decide, okay, actually we don't want to do that, what we could then do is say patrol chalk 3 spawn 3, and there, go back out on another patrol route. Okay, now let's take a look at this fire support base down here. So this is from a mod. It's a nice big howitzer. It's about the best analog to the kind of howitzer I actually would like to have. So there's howitzers there and some mortars in the back. And these guys can fire at stuff autonomously, but they can also be commanded. If you have combined arms, you can use the add target thing and do it that way. If you don't have combined arms, we have a workaround. So it's -fire. I gotta take a look at the briefing. Yeah, fire rounds type and radius. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna say fire. Let's do 10 rounds from howitzers with a 200 meter radius. Okay, like I said, there's still some debugging stuff going on there. So now these guys will, takes them a second to aim and such. Hopefully task expectation. Okay, so I think that target might have actually been too close. So what we're going to do is we'll just have them shoot at this airfield. Oh, which they have already done. So we missed that, unfortunately. Now we can see the airfield in the distance. And there it is. I love calling in artillery, man. It's so much fun. It's really fun if you have, because the multi-crew in the Huey was implemented a couple years ago. This is really fun to do in the air as an observer. Super fun. And then, of course, you could do the same with mortars. So they're a little bit shorter range, so they'll actually probably be able to fire to here. So we're going to do fire. We'll do 10 rounds from mortar with a, let's do 300 meter dispersion just for fun. Delete. And it'll grab the nearest mortars, which should be these guys. Yep. So you can see them turning. Honestly, can't remember which of these fields I put it in. So it'll just take a second. It's really fun when you're watching infantry guys run, like enemy infantry, to try to time it so that the mortars land on them while they're moving. It's great. And you get surprisingly good at it. Okay, so there's that. So we do have a fully featured CTLD here. So one of the things we could do, so I could grab a Pathfinder and then go into CTLD and grab a mortar squad. And the Pathfinder's on board. I just grabbed a spawn that I have set up right near the infantry. Get our guns going. And the thing that took probably, I was going to say the most work, but really not. It was all of the patrolling stuff that took the most work, and the persistence was huge. But having CTLD FOBs persist took some effort. I'm not going to take the time to set up a FOB because you have to bring so many crates. If you're doing it by yourself, it takes forever. But it is persistent, so one, all that effort doesn't go to waste, and two, you could do it over the course of days by relogging into a server that has this mission running. Just going to find a nice little spot to stick some mortars. And I'll try to sneak into a really small clearing so we can use the Pathfinder. There's plenty of working out here. Find the tail rotor. There was a time that I could do this at speed, but that was a long time ago. Okay. So We're going to have the Pathfinder clear out this spot in the middle of this big field. Oh, it looks like we're taking some fire. Guess I should have brought some infantry. Those Pathfinders probably are not going to have a good time. Okay, I'm going to pick up and have the door gunner a cleaner shot. So, one current potential bug is when you create the marker called Pathfinder, it adds it to a list. I don't currently have it deleting it from the list when you delete the marker. There's some event handler stuff I got to do there. So, in theory, if you have like a bunch of Pathfinder markers that have been used throughout the mission, and those don't persist when you restart the mission, by the way. So like if you have two within the right range and drop both of them, and then drop a Pathfinder, they could go to the wrong one, even after it's been deleted, if they're less than a kilometer apart. So that is something I will get around to updating. Okay, there's our LZ there. And so again, this is all just sort of simulating doing this in a much more densely forested area. You know, again, if we ever get a Vietnam map, this will be really handy. Because you could do this from like a loach or something. That would be fun to try with the AH6 mod. You know, really tiny little helicopter, you can just pop right down in there. Okay, so we're going to get close to the center without running over our Pathfinder, because you can kill him with the skids too. Okay, so we're going to grab him. We're going to go to CTLD, unload, and we see it drops the mortar tubes in a ring, and then the trees are cleared out just larger than that ring, so that the mortars don't accidentally hit the, they don't hit the trees. See if I can get rid of some of this dust. Anyway, so there's our mortars. And then, using either that script I showed you or combined arms, we can... Oh, incidentally, it will also give these guys a patrol route, which is really huge for some reason. But they're mortars, so they can't actually move. What you can do is find the leader, if you have combined arms. Or no, that doesn't work anymore. Okay, yeah, so they have a route, they just don't actually move because they're mortar tubes. So using that script, we can call in fires, or we can do it with combined arms. Let's go ahead and we'll do it with the script. There we go. Okay, so this should start happening. I should be able to make this automatic, but we have to update already. Now we should be able to call it in. Fire 6 mortar. Drop group 2. Okay, excellent. So these guys will turn their tubes. Yeah, this is a lot of fun from the air. Okay, we'll let those land. It's going to take a second because it's relatively close. Okay, there's our mortars. Knocking down trees and shit, hell yeah. Oh man, just like Saipan! Movie reference. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate the persistence. So what do we have on the map? So we've got our mortars. We've got this patrol kind of in the center. Actually, they're pretty close to the pier. That's pretty much everything we've done. There's like a couple of random Pathfinder zones. I think this is where that Pathfinder... Yeah, there's basically no chance I'm going to find that, but that's okay. Alright, so we're going to restart the mission. Just going to grab a Game Master so we can see everything. So there's our patrol. There is our mortar team. And the mortar team... Oh, I never dropped up that Pathfinder, so he's still there. Because DCS doesn't actually update their positions. Actually, he's going to destroy those mortar tubes, so let me set him to extract. Boop. Okay. Because otherwise he would have eventually destroyed those mortar tubes. And we can see that the Pathfinder zone around him automatically cleared. Now if you join later into the mission, like if this is multiplayer and you join, clients will still see the trees. So what they can do is go to F10 Other and clear Pathfinder joins, and then clear Pathfinder zones, and then I put in parentheses on join. You know, basically like when you join the server, just do that and it will clear any of those zones that were done before you joined the server. In theory, if you're connected to the server during your restart, they should work, but you know, it's easy to just go F10 and do that. So I believe that is the majority of the stuff I needed to show you guys. There's a bunch of this stuff in the briefing as well, of course. I've got P-47s on here, so you can do some air-to-ground. But again, remember, they'll get propaganda points, so be careful as to how much you rely on that. Oh, that's one minor thing I should show you guys. So if we go over to the pier and say that we have picked up most of these guys, and there's not a ton of infantry to pick up anymore. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. What we do is go spawn grunts, and it will spawn some more. What we should do is clear the pickup zone. Now, the issue with clearing the pickup zone is if there are any infantrymen aboard a helicopter, they'll still get deleted, because like you saw with that Pathfinder on the restart, DCS doesn't consider their position to have changed until they're dropped off. So if there's anyone in a helicopter and you do that, they'll get deleted, which is kind of annoying. It's a DCS limitation. Sorry. But you can always spawn grunts and it'll just add. It won't delete anyone who's still in there. So we can see these guys, they sort of move around a little bit, getting ready to get on the helicopter. I have tried in vain to get them to stay in formation when that happens. This is the best I could do. Okay, so that's how you spawn more grunts. Yep, so this is where we talk about extracting, like we demonstrated earlier, and then the F10 artillery script. So I think that's everything I needed to cover for the video. Oh, there's a different Pathfinder that's there for testing. So I think that's everything I needed to cover. So This whole mission, all of the scripts and everything, will be available on GitHub along with some documentation that I'm working on. So I will add a link to the GitHub page in the description. And other than that, that's it.